Hey, what's up, everybody? Ralph here. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about some of the mistakes I made when I purchased my first property. So if you're someone that's looking to buy a property and you wanted to get, an idea and, just get an idea of like what it's like to buy a property and like some of the things you should look out for, then, definitely listen to my story. When I bought my first property back in like 2010, right? And it was a one bed, one bath condo. I bought it back in 2010 and then I sold it in 2014. Now, when I sold it at a loss. So I bought it for like, I think it was like about 55K. And then I sold it for like 30 something thousand dollars. I know when I went to go sell it, I had to come out like $20,000 out of pocket. I wanted to sell that thing real quick. I lost some money out of it and it was just like, it was a horrible investment, horrible purchase. So one of the mistakes that I made when I first made that purchase was, I remember when I was talking to my mortgage broker, he told me that when I was on the phone with him, he was like, you know what, the property is not well managed. They have some money issues and stuff like that. But I was so excited to get my first property. I was like, you know what, okay, I'm gonna buy it. Let's just get it done. I'll deal with whatever comes with it. It can't be that bad. But I remember when he told me that, he gave me a red flag. There was a few red flags that he told me about, which I should have been like, if I knew now what I knew then, I would have been like, yeah, definitely not gonna buy it. But I remember he told me that it was poorly managed. That the people, obviously the management is struggling with money. He just gave me a couple of tips where, just some things I need to, be aware of before I made the purchase. But of course, being excited, being the first time homeowner, I went and bought the property anyway. So, I mean, that was one of the first mistakes I made. I should have listened to my mortgage broker and was like, I should have like really like looked in depth and like really looked into the finances of the property before I purchased it. The second mistake I made that was purchasing a condo instead of a multifamily. Like for me, I'm like, my goal is to, since I've always been into real estate. So when I purchased it, I purchased a one bedroom, one bath condo. So if I could go back then, I would, instead of purchasing a condo, I would have bought a multifamily. Because the good thing is, obviously, you talk about house hacking. I would have purchased like a duplex or a three family and would have lived in it and then rent out the other two. And then right there, I would have started building income. Because once you purchase that condo, there's no income. It's basically just, you're paying that mortgage and you're paying the condo fees. So for me, the first thing I would have done was saved up more money, purchased a multifamily and lived in one of them and then rent out the other one. Because the condo that I lived in, it was a horrible experience. Like every year, condo fees were going up. And then there was always like special assessments every year. And there was just so much dysfunction going on when we had like owner meetings. And the thing I could have done is when, instead of like really selling it for that loss, I could have like rented it out. But the thing is, with some condos, there's a ratio between owners and renters, and I think that threshold is at like 80%. So I think it was already at that. It had to be 80% ownership and like 20% renters, and that condo was already above that. So I would have had to been on a waiting list. But for me, I was so tired and done with it. I was like, yo, just sell this thing. I was quick to get rid of it. I was like, man, I don't want to deal with this anymore. So for me, getting rid of that property was just like, I was trying to sell that. I bought it back in 2010. I think I was trying to sell that thing back in like 2012, and it took like a couple of years for me to eventually sell it at a loss, of course. So I think for me was, obviously the first mistake was not listening to my mortgage broker. The second mistake was obviously purchasing a condo instead of a multifamily, where I could like live in that one of the units and then rent out the other units and build up income, and then take that income and then purchase more property. So, that being my first property. It's definitely an experience, and you learn when you're purchasing property is you gotta learn how to take the emotion out of it, because you're so excited, like, yo, I'm gonna be a homeowner. It's like it clouds your judgment. And for me, being so into real estate, me wanting to be an investor, I should have been thinking about income, and especially knowing that was not gonna be like the home that I was gonna be in forever. Most likely I'd have been in a few years and then be out to another property. So I should have, like, if I could go back, I would think that and like, focus on income first, and then start building up properties, bringing up assets, and then purchase another property, and so on and so forth, till I get the house that I want. So my recommendation, if like you're thinking about purchasing a property, and you're trying to build wealth, you're trying to build income, I would not focus on buying some condo or some single family. I would focus on purchasing a multifamily where you can live in that unit for a few years, and then rent out the other units. And then once you build up some more money, then you can purchase another property, and then just build from there. So that would be my advice to you. So that's all I got right now. What are your thoughts on purchasing? What are some of the mistakes you had when you purchased your first property? Leave the comment down below. Hit the like button, and make sure don't forget to share this. All right. So take care, and don't forget to subscribe as well. Okay. So you guys take care. Have a good one, and